Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live on the Web3 Network. Congratulations, Argentina, for pulling up a awesome finale to a great World Cup. I know Gifted is excited. I know everyone here was pulling for Argentina, correct? Do we have any
That
France supporters here?
I mean, not me. Sarah,
Yeah.
What about you? Who are you rooting for?
I was rooting for Argentina. I don't know why I watched it. I don't know why I was rooting for Argentina. I just was. I just wanted to participate in something.
You had the feeling. You
Yeah.
felt it.
Yeah.
It was the time.
So Messi is officially the GOAT, apparently, and we are going to, start this episode off talking a little bit about that game, but also a lot of quick news that just dropped. We had Yuga Labs with an announcement. Elon is just making a ruckus on Twitter, which of course we'll get into. Trump NFTs at 0.5. I don't know how we feel about that, but
you know how we feel about that. It's not good. It's not good.
We officially have Sarah Script on NFT Live, which we've been trying to make happen for a while. Sarah is a very busy gal, so thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on today's episode. Are you Gifted was like really getting after it today in the morning show? Are you scared about this show?
I'm a little scared. He was like, "We're gonna grill you."
We promised the people that we would hold your feet to the fire and absolutely, come straight, and not just give you all these softball questions like everybody else out there, but that we'd give them the real questions. So, with that in mind, we have to ask you, Sarah Script, what is your favorite PFP project of all time?
Wow.
My favorite PFP project of all time is Crypto Coven. Yeah.
That's a good one. We like it. We like witches around here in general. So
and Witchy GF. I love Witchy GF.
That's pretty solid. Crypto Coven's great. All right.
I
mean, there you go. Hard hitting question number one. There's more where that came from.
A full checklist that we have to get to. But before we do that, Biggie, how are you doing today, my man? Good to see you on a Monday. Hopefully your week has started well.
Dude, it started fantastic. It started on Sunday when Argentina took it, dude. What a game, man. It's so stressful. So stressful, man. My baby girl's godmother is from Argentina, so we were like texting each other back and forth, man. And Jesus, dude, I don't think I've seen a final like that ever in my life. Best final.
What's going on with this link you shared here?
So, I'll tell you about it.
So much passion,
dude. Man, I wish I was there. So this guy's he's like a pretty famous actor, YouTuber guy. It's him and his wife, and they're always like everything is based around football and soccer, and basically his wife wasn't able to be there because they had to be with the kids, but everybody tracking it was like, feeling it for both of them. It was really an emotional time. It was awesome. It was really,
no other sports get that level of passion. The passion that you see at like the World Cup and big football games is just not like any other sport.
I know, man. Really brings the world together. It's so crazy too that he's gonna just like now go back and play for Paris Saint-Germain.
So I initially thought this was like his last hurrah with Argentina, but apparently he's staying on. Guys, if you're not here for the sports action, I don't know what you're on NFT Live for. We will get to that in a second, but I thought backwards caps only.
Yo, she got the assignment. She got the assignment right there. Boom. Screenshot it. Mint that shit. Let's go.
I'm having some trouble behind the scenes here, but I did just link a specific thread that we're going to explain here before we get started. Community topics is going to be a new segment that we're going to work with here on NFT Live. And what I need you to do is not post any videos of Hasbullah, but post a community topic that you would like us to cover here on NFT Live. So we're going to take one topic. Today is going to be $50 Ape coin, USD, not Ape, not 50 Ape. Easy. I know Quantum Variants here in chat expecting to get 50 Ape coin here, but it's going to be $50 in USD. We're going to pick one topic that we want to cover as a group here, and we'll do that every day. I'm not sure we're going to do the Ape coin giveaway every day, but and we will not be. But we will do the community topic here, and that will be at near the end of the show. So you have time to still get in. We will do that later in the episode. But before we get to the rest of the episode, please leave a like on today's episode. We are covering the NFT and Web3 space daily. It helps get the channel some notoriety here, so our voices to be thrown out into the metaverse, if you will.
Where's the Chat GPT epic CTA that you had last week, bro?
I retired it.
What? You played it back once and you retired it?
It was too good.
All right, so Sarah, Nifty Q, let's just say he's been challenged in the past, I would say, if we're being nice, when it comes to his CTAs. And last week he came in with the most epic CTA anybody's ever heard of all time. Turns out it was the AI. The AI gave him a hand with it. But I want him to run it back. I want him to do more of it, because I felt that CTA in all my parts.
This is a no AI we're a very no AI zone here on NFT Live.
Oh, okay. All right, that's new. Yeah,
and
also I feel like crypto Hasbulla should absolutely be on the table for our community discussions. So if you like me are curious where Q's at with the crypto Hasbulla, and hard hitting question number 2 for Sarah. Do you have a crypto Hasbulla?
No, what's a crypto Hasbulla?
It's a great question.
Phenomenal. No one here really knows. It's what it's not is a rug by Hasbulla on people. It's not a liquidity draining event for the space here by having Hasbulla take everybody's money. That's what it's not, if anything. So NFT PFP project.
It's phenomenal art. It's phenomenal art by Living Meme Hasbulla, and maybe we'll get into that later. All right,
Sarah. Before we get started with quick news here, how are you doing in the NFT space today? We know it's a bear market. We know everything is what it is generally. But how are you doing in the NFT space?
Pretty good. I mean, my friends are still here. Rich, Q, Biggie, Jessica is in the chat, Joe, Jeff, can't complain. I've got a 1 of 1 up right now on auction that's ending soon. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to Wednesday. So
is that the foundation link?
Yes.
Yeah, let's pull that up. Q, let's pull up these links. Let's get in on some of Sarah's stuff up front here. Priorities. Ladies and degenerates.
True.
Sarah, give us, we're familiar with you. You even know my first name, apparently. That's awkward.
Doxed.
But
did I say your first name just now? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but we obviously are familiar with you as one of the most OG, badass, talented artist stories in the space, doing just so much cool stuff. Your calligraphy background, your illustrations, and the world, that you're building, all of your really, really fun, the jokes that you build into your illustrations. We know all of this, right? But for those who don't know you, give us a quick intro to who is Sarah Script.
I'm a professional calligrapher, so I came into the NFT space with calligraphy first. I've been doing calligraphy for 8 years, almost 9, I think, which makes me feel really old. And yeah, I started illustrating when I got into the NFT space last summer. So 1.5 years now, I've been learning illustration. And part of that has been putting little NFT Easter eggs all over my illustrations. So Nifty City is probably the most pun-filled collection that I have. It's 1 of 1s, but if you like Web3 and crypto and puns, I have a slightly more accessible collection called Story Emporium, which is editions of books. I took my link tree out because Elon scared me, but my link tree was literally there yesterday. So.
Is NFT Live not following Sarah? Can we
What do you mean?
follow
What are you
Sarah's-
talking about? I just
Yeah,
did it.
I don't know. What's
I don't
going on
follow.
there?
It follows like 50 people, maybe, and that was probably
It's
like 10 years
okay.
ago.
It's okay that you're not following Farouk, but like if you're not following Sarah, we got issues.
I just got to follow everybody now. Here we go.
This is the NFT Live account, not Nifty Q's personal account. But now we're chastising him.
This is the Foundation 101, Sarah?
Yeah, this is the one that's on auction right now. It's ending pretty soon.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Ronan
so
picked one of these up, right? Like, this is part of the series.
he picked up the first one. So yeah, that was really, really nice of him. Zeneca has one. Actually, a childhood friend from Little Rock has one. So yeah, it's kind of
That's
like
actually
a sad series, but yeah, but it's like I mean, I hope it's pretty. I hope people like it.
it's beautiful. I think these really stand out. I saw when you were sharing, Ronan got one. Obviously, Ronan, one of our favorite co-hosts and contributors, and also really putting the collector in Ronan the Collector here, picking up one of these beautiful pieces by Sarah. But that's interesting. You mentioned Zeneca has one. I think I would imagine one of the coolest things about your story, your journey in the space has to be some of the people that have been collecting your work. Like, I think Franklin is bored has been one of your collectors. Like, are there any other sort of like crazy relationships or collectors that you've had pick up your work?
Oh my gosh, I know that I'm just gonna forget somebody in this moment, but Sartoshi picked up one of those flower pot. Pretty please. I'm like really nervous. So Sartoshi picked up one that was really cool. Franklin was like a big supporter of my calligraphy early on. And then I think like we're looking at Mournbirds now. Like Mournbirds, I was able to be collected by a lot of like friends with that collection because they were at an accessible price point. So like Mournbirds and emotional support mice just kind of like helped me grow. Like I don't want to say a community because it's like they're just following my work, but like it helps me grow and like make more friends and yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, we don't like the word community here. So
Well, it's weird to say community because I'm like one person, like one artist. Like I don't want to co-opt that word because I like that's, you know what I mean?
100%. Sarah, I would love to know like what your next plans are for. I know you're doing these one-of-ones, but are there still plans to do these like larger drops that you're doing with emotional support mice and the Mournbirds? Also, I do want to point out that my background, although I don't want to hit my Twitter profile, I guess right now because I'm getting flamed for it. But on my profile, Sarah hit me up the other day and said, I need to make you a Twitter banner because you're a holder of Mournbirds. So I was able to get
utility.
This created. Yeah. Exactly. That was
connection.
A really, really awesome message to get. And thank you for the banner. But getting back to the question, what are your future plans for like the drops and things like that? Do you even have that kind of like roadmap-esque mindset when it comes to your art? I feel like that maybe that doesn't seem like the thing that you would normally like associate with, I guess.
I don't have any like plans in regards to a large NFT drop in the next year. I think my plan right now is to build out these brands and like art. Well, I don't want to call it a brand because it's not. It's just like Sarah, me, an artist. But like I want to like a goal of mine is to write a book featuring the emotional support mouse and the Mournbird. And like I was looking up last night, like how to create a book dummy to send to a publisher, because that's what I would really love to do is to write like a 32, 36 page children's style book, maybe not for children, but like illustrated, and then send that out to a bunch of publishers, send it out to my publisher that published the Copperplate book that I wrote, and just like cross my fingers and hope that somebody thinks it's funny. So that's like my biggest plan right now is to put something out into the real world, because I think that's like the best opportunity we have right now to give back to the holders and what am I trying to say? increase the IP.
Win metaverse for what is the city called?
Nifty City.
Nifty City. I was going
Which
to say
also
that.
not to be confused with Nifty Castle. Nifty Castle is actually just a couple miles outside of the Nifty City. But
like
yeah, Nifty
this.
City is her own fun-filled, very very punny place that she's building. Yeah,
win metaverse.
That's hard hitting question number 3, by the way, for those keeping track.
Yeah, video game coming soon.
True, on the roadmap.
Yo, collaborating with Super Yetis, I heard. That's actually
I am curious though, Sarah. Like, what would be the next animal you would choose if you were to do like a follow up to the mice and the birds? What do you think you would choose? You don't have to stick to it. It's not written in stone, people. I'm just curious.
I have this black cat that shows up a lot in my foundation 1-of-1s and in Nifty City. So maybe some sort of like black cat series. That could be cool.
Keeping it very, very sort of magical, witchy, mystical. I don't know. I feel those vibes. Black cats definitely have some magic about them. I do think it's cool though, because I don't think we've hit this yet. You know, Q, you were showing off your banner. Obviously, that's really, really personal, one-to-one utility. I love that type of shit. It's like when Jeff Jag with his rent heads offered 10 people randomly to do a custom renovation of their NFT, and like I want a sex dungeon. Now I have one of only 10 in the entire rent heads collection that Jeff Jag went and literally like drew on it. And so, you know, Sarah is creating this kind of really personal, deeper one-to-one utility doing these banners. The emotional support mice were actually also a utility for Mournbirds holders, right? So that was kind of an expansion again to this, you know, Nifty City world or whatever you want to call it, the world of Sarah Script. So yeah, maybe talk a little bit about that and how you're building or evolving through these different projects.
Yeah, one of the ways I'm trying to give back to collectors and just like thank them for their support is by creating custom Twitter banners for them for free. So if you have an emotional support mouse or a Mournbird or any of my like stuff from, you know, Bitski from back in the day when I was doing mosaics or like calligraphy videos, like reach out to me on Twitter and I'll be happy to make a banner for you. It is kind of like time consuming. So I'm trying to do like, you know, like 5 a day and like work that into my regular schedule. But yeah, I'm really happy to do that for people because it's a skill that I love and I don't want to lose. So yeah.
I feel like we oftentimes like get caught up talking about like the larger projects, and those are like very, I guess, not personal in that sense. Like they have like larger, I guess, you know, a larger conglomerate that they need to kind of appease. So when you sent me that message, I was like, holy shit, this reminded me of the power of NFTs and what that allows people to do. You know, from both sides, from the collector and the artist. So I feel like the emotional support mice here are kind of at a disadvantage. I mean, a natural predator of mice are owls and cats. Is there a... Go ahead.
I like Joe's suggestion, caterpillars. That could be so cute.
So they're like caterpillar bodies with a black cat head, or different cats as their heads.
I get it.
I want to show. Don't mind Gift Dead.
It was awful. Don't entertain it for a second. All right, let's keep going.
Sarah, if you could explain what's happening in this photo as well, because this was like really cool engagement that you were able to do with Time.
This is this is that list, and this is the 2022 list that we were trying to feature on the show. This is a big deal that you were featured in this. What is the top 100? What is this list again? This is part of.
It's 2022's most influential list by CoinDesk, and it's most influential people in crypto for the year. So they asked, I think, 14 artists to create portraits of some of the people of the list. I think there's like 55 total, maybe 100 on the list. So 14 of them got portraits. and they assigned my portrait to be Carol House, who was instrumental in drafting the executive order that came out of the White House to try to like essentially herd cats of different organizations in the government to get them to act on regulation for crypto in the United States, which I know is like not a popular topic in our community. So I knew that this probably wasn't going to go over well, but I do appreciate what she's doing, because I think it's a perspective that our community doesn't really think about as much. We like tend to think about like freedom for individuals and power to the artists, and like all this money moving around so freely without government oversight. But like watching all of her, like before I even started sketching, I watched like tons of her presentations and podcasts and read articles, and I was really kind of enamored by like how I'm laughing at a comment at how like seriously she takes national security, and how like this does implicate national, like our security and other nations as well. And so yeah, I thought it was really, really cool that it was a woman my age working behind the scenes to basically just be like, hey, this is cool technology and we should protect people.
It's really awesome. I mean, so you're one of only 14 artists that were asked to participate in this. So I mean, congrats on that. And going to that website and seeing your art pop up there was a really cool experience.
Thank you so much. I just shipped off prints to her friend, and the collector, and they all got well, I don't want to say it. They're not watching this. They all got like calligraphy thank you notes.
Wow.
It could be. Who knows? Yeah, although I'm going to link the CoinDesk article here for you guys to go check out. If you like this, also you couldn't see it from the display. Each cat has like a different entity associated with it. So like SEC, looks like the House of Commerce, the CFTC. Each cat had a like name tag, a necklace there. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, she was, Sarah was mentioning the Easter eggs that are a big part of her style, and I have to say, definitely some of the best wordplay in all of the NFT space. Definitely one of the funniest, most entertaining creators out there, and I think that's probably why Twitter has loved you so much, is because you're very witty and punny, and yeah, some of the NFT jokes that are kind of hidden as Easter eggs into her work are phenomenal. So that's one of the best parts about discovering her and going through her work, is like you get to go read all the different the jokes that are basically in there referencing different parts of the NFT and the Web3 space. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Love it. We have a comment here. A bunch of comments came through, so we appreciate you guys getting involved in the chat. I do want to bring up that giveaway that we're doing for the $50 of ApeCoin. But Prodigy's asking, what is your hat, Biggie? You got a quick.
Oh, it's a trinacria. It's the symbol for Sicily. So it's meant to be Sicily. It's based on old Roman mythology, not even before the Romans. It's one of the most ancient places of Western civilization. But thank you for asking. I'm a big fan.
Biggie, have you watched White Lotus season 2?
No, I have not.
I just finished it. It takes place in Sicily. Anyway, White Lotus, very entertaining. But
You don't have to tell me about it.
Hard-hitting question number 4 for Sarah. How many Trump NFTs do you have?
Fair.
Oh, 69,000. That's right?
69,000? That's
what
all
a whale.
And then more. Holy shit. The ultimate Trump whale, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
have the ones he hasn't even thought of yet, because he knows. We all know he's going to drop a companion collection, right?
Oh my god!
Oh, a Melania collection.
News. Yeah,
I love that.
The Don Juniors. Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh,
so
little Jared Kushner's.
Little Jared Cushies.
Are these going to be on Polygon? Because he dropped on Polygon, Melania dropped on Solana. Where is the next drop happening? Is the real question for those of you that are following that ongoing.
Please not Tezos.
He just said Flow. All right, we will get to flow here in just a second. Trump digital trading cards, 0.3 is the floor price on ETH. I'm not sure what that is in today's dollars. We're fluctuating so rapidly, but they were $100 a piece. So people are up. Minters are up on Trump digital trading cards to gift dead's chagrin here. We'll jump into that in just a hot second. I do want to point out real quick, we do have that topic list. If you go into the NFT live tweet about this episode and you tell us what topic to cover, although Symbiotech is cheating here by adding 4 different topics. Biggie, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to put the responsibility.
You're right. Let's good point. Let's discourage engagement on this post.
Agreed. Yeah. Actually, we're done with the giveaway. No, Biggie, can you actually be the one that chooses the topic for today's community topic, if you could? So
All
later
right.
in the episode, I'll ask you which question we're going to cover, and you will unveil the winner at said time.
These are on NFT Live Twitter, right?
Yep. You probably don't follow us, do you?
Yeah,
It's a big
I do.
responsibility.
Yeah, I do. All right.
All right. We're jumping into quick news. Here's what we got. Flow Blockchain sees decline amid Dapper Labs uncertainty. Apparently, Dapper Labs let go 22% of their team here today. Of course, Flow is the
That was
blockchain.
in November. That was in November, for clarity. We're seeing the impact of that.
Yeah, so Flow is again going to be that blockchain that NBA Top Shot is on. They have a bunch of different sports-related projects and non-sports related projects. There's a ton of different developers building on Flow blockchain, and of course Dapper Labs is the company behind that blockchain, and they let go 22% of their workforce. This is going to impact the Flow token, and we've already seen it. I think it's down about 25% in the last week. So I guess the question here is does this hurt Dapper Labs? Is Dapper Labs going to be a big player here long term? Or is this kind of just a blip on the radar in what other projects are doing in the space right now in this bear market?
Oh, we know it's a blip, right? We do know it's a blip. If we look at, again, like I always like to reference like a logarithmic trend, not just for Flow, but for the space in general. It's up and to the right. We're in a dark moment right now, and obviously everything's going to be pulled down. But to think that the juggernaut like Dapper Labs is not sticking to their roadmap and what they're trying to do, which is similar to Solana, I think, like a consumer blockchain for everybody. I don't think anything has changed. My thesis hasn't changed. I'm bullish on Flow. And yeah, it sucks that the token is down, but I don't think this is going to affect them any which way. Their community of supporters is pretty strong, I think, and they're not going to leave just because of token down.
I know.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Flow. I want to check out Flow as well. I haven't at all, but I know that there's like a digital fashion brand that's on Flow that's pretty big. I'm forgetting the name, but anyway, I know they've done stuff with like World of Women, and I feel like that's going to be a cool trend. I don't know. I'm a fan of like the whole digital fashion thing, and know that I need to check out Flow for sure.
I was pretty
100%.
bullish on Flow from what I heard as being like one of the places that I thought a lot of big brands would go, because it felt kind of like more of that Web 2.5, where it's a little bit more of a controlled ecosystem. They could maintain more control, and they'd already shown, ability to scale transaction speed, doing it efficiently with things
But
like NBA Top Shot.
Why do you say it in past tense, Gifted? Is most of the major games out there, like NHL, NFL, freaking basketball, they're not enough. I mean, I know Polygon is hogging the spotlight.
Polygon's
right now.
co-opting that narrative for sure.
But
Flow, I mean, I don't think they're going anywhere.
But now there's alternatives that are getting some of those leagues and the sports activity, the transaction, the users. So Rare, that's the other story to tie this together with. So Rare, which is, I would say, direct competitor that is Ethereum based, just added 600,000 new wallets just during the World Cup alone, right? And that's where a lot of the football collectors are going. And so I'm just saying, there's increased competition. They basically diluted they diluted the value of their main product, which was NBA Top Shot, by increasing supply without maintaining demand. And they've been laying off people. I'm just saying, Polygon's killing it, SoRare's killing it, increased competition. What's their next big product that's coming out? That's going to stem that momentum.
We always get comments on Wax here on the channel. If you guys are just have been tuning into the channel for like the last. Yeah, for like the last 6 months to a year. Well, this channel was covering Wax when it first launched, and they often get left in the dust in these conversations.
Isn't one of the issues with Wax? So I didn't get into Wax, so school me on this. Isn't one of the issues with Wax that it isn't interoperable with Ethereum, with other systems? Like, isn't it's like Flow? Isn't its own kind of closed system?
Yeah, well, they have the Ethereum Wax bridge, right, which was supposed to be the moment where you could onboard Ethereum people into Wax. But for the most part, they haven't gone the route primarily of saying here is an ecosystem where smaller creators and smaller brands are going to build communities on Wax. It's been like, let's bring in the Godzillas, let's bring in the Street Fighters, let's bring in all of these like larger kind of Web 2 entities that can launch collections on Wax. So it's tough to kind of build communities that way when you have just these large brands that don't really care about really taking care and connecting on that level. They just want to launch their collections, and they want to be a little bit extractive, to the point that you always make.
Yeah, so they're just treating NFTs and Web3 like another marketing channel, and not as a future community place to build value, new value, et cetera, right? And so that, I think, is a failure in their own ethos, their own brand as a chain, right? If they're marketing themselves as a marketing solution, as a way to extract more value out of your brand or your portfolio of IP, right? It's equity, right? So it's like there's all these big companies that own these different IP, these legacy brands, whatever, the Street Fighters of the world. And a lot of them are just like, hey, we've got this portfolio, we've got these brands, we've got this IP that we own. How do we just get more value out of it? They don't want to spend time or energy investing in Web3 or building a community or providing real long-term value. And so if that's Wax's business model, if that's Flow's business model, is just a way to extract value and not provide long-term community.
I think they're different though, right? Like, I think Wax's approach was to like look for this kind of dying IP, like Garbage Patch Kids and Kickboxer or whatever the hell.
Did you say Garbage Patch Kids?
Garbage Patch Kids and Kickboxer.
Yeah, no, like, whatever. Like those dying brands that like are nostalgic.
Oh, we lost your audio, Biggie.
We lost him. Sarah Script, hard-hitting question number 5. Did you, when you were a child, collect Garbage Patch Kids?
I definitely did not, but when NFT project, Biggie, that sounds great. Garbage Pail Kids is a thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I think you meant Cabbage Patch, but I don't know.
No. Garbage Pail Kids was one of the first NFT projects on Wax. That's
okay.
Yeah.
No idea.
GPK.
I collected rocks. I painted on rocks and collected them. My parents were like, "What the hell?"
So when you're thinking about launching a collection, do any of the other blockchains come into mind for you? Or are you kind of just like good with where ETH is at and that's where you're going to stay? Because I know you talked about Flow and checking that out, but do any other chains kind of come into that discussion when you're looking to launch a collection?
Not right now. I mean, I'm an ETH maxi. I mean, it's the most decentralized, never goes down. It's not an easy bake oven like Solana.
Oof.
Shout out! I don't remember his name already.
Nifty Q takes Solana swipes personally here, so just a heads up.
I do, and I'm glad we had Saigo join us on the morning show today because he was like heavily involved. He like knew the guys behind the Toys R Us drop, which was we've been talking about in our super. I'm just it's a meme at this point, but I'm excited to like follow the Toys R Us stuff. He said they had a whole bunch of issues with the launch already, so we'll see. Biggie, I think we got your audio, man.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Jesus, these things are like killing me lately. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, like just about wax, right? Like, and the difference between wax and flow. I think they're very different beasts. I think, wax was trying to basically just onboard and resuscitate these dying nostalgic brands for a lot of people, and they were semi-successful. I think we talked about it, Q, a bit like trying to be like that old arcade room. Flow, on the other hand, obviously took like, they went very hard after a lot of these like sports franchises, right? Which is smart. But I think, as Sarah has noted, Flow has done a much better job at like building community, like a passionate community of users, and has expanded way beyond just like the sports team collector memorabilia stuff. They do have fashion, digitals, metaverse, a whole bunch of other stuff. Also very big, I think, like they've really tried to tackle, it's one of the chains that I've seen like most determined to tackle like the Asian market. So they do have some like really cool projects there, as well as for like traditional artists, right? Like, let's not forget, like Ben Mauro launched his first project in Flow, which is called Evolutions, which is conveniently now tying back in with Huxley. So I don't know. I think they're doing a good job. Again, just a blip in the radar at the moment. They're not, they're not sensational enough to compete with Polygon and other chains.
I'm glad that
they're going anywhere.
I'm glad that you brought up the Ben Morrow collection, man, because that felt like an outlier in this conversation that we're having of like larger brands they're trying to bring in. There are examples on Wax and on Flow of collections that look a lot like ETH drops. Smaller drops connecting with the like a smaller creator, but they're just not enough. It just seems like they haven't been able to garner enough people to kind of come over and build on those things or launch on those blockchains. But Ben Moore was a great example. That was, if they had more of that, I think they would, unfortunately they didn't, but
we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of money launched, also a couple of art projects that I think are pretty dope there. And what I like is that the edition size is a lot smaller. So it's a little more scarce, but yeah, let's see how it plays out, guys. I mean, I don't know, just defending Flow here.
I'll be looking more at the transactions and the development that's happening when it comes to those statistics than the price of Flow. Unfortunately, I mean, that Flow ran up to about $45 and it's sitting at 76 cents. So that is an extreme drop, but I'm looking more at the transactions there. All right, I'm also looking at the chat. Prodigy saying Biggie's the GOAT. Mass Mage, we will get to Elon in just a second, and that will be not a lively discussion at all. Jessica is saying, for the right price, Gift will tattoo anything on his body. Don R is saying, Sarah, as an
Not
ETH
true.
maxi, do you include Polygon, or do you think that has less value?
No, I think Polygon is going to probably be what most people use in the future for NFTs, just because it's so much cheaper and easier, and it just makes more sense. Yeah, and I've collected on Polygon as well, and it's delightful.
What's the most naughty chain that you've used, Sarah? By naughty, I mean like you don't want to accept that you use it or that you've bought something on it.
Ooh,
You're
that's a good
ashamed.
question.
Yeah.
Oh, I've only collected on ETH and Polygon. So I did like very briefly have Phantom Wallet in my Google pins.
Ooh, yeah.
But she's ashamed of it. Yeah, she got rid of it. You're like, yeah. Like I briefly had it.
I asked her, what was your most, all right.
So
like,
Vive is probably that for me, or VV or whatever. Like, I think I have a VV NFT, and I'm like, oh.
So Sarah, you haven't gotten into Tezos at all?
I haven't. I want to. I think I was a little bit bothered by the whole like clean NFT marketing narrative. That was really really silly to me.
Me too.
So,
Me too.
Yeah. But there are a lot of great artists on there, but also I don't think it's as like decentralized as ETH, and there's just not as much happening. So yeah.
The self-righteousness of that initial group of like hen fanatics also kept me out of it for a while. right? But now I'm there because I like the experimental nature of the generative art, and the quality that you can get for the price is amazing. So I'm like a new Tez head, but yeah, initially until like the last couple of months, I stayed away from it, and I would have to say it was because of that same sort of feeling that I got from the way they were talking about it.
Biggie just hit us with the best question that's ever been asked on NFT Live. What's the naughtiest blockchain you've ever been on? I love that.
Naughty chain.
Biggie.
Hey, what's your biggest naughty chain? That should be a question for the audience, maybe, that they'd like to answer in the poll you made.
Yeah, what's the? I would love to see an answer to that. What is the blockchain that you've minted on that you just don't want to tell anybody about? Kane Mayfield has a drop that I want to link here as well. Big fan of the channel. Of course, he's part of the community. He has a show on Web3, the Speakeasy, that he runs with Easy and Crypto on Thursdays. This is an audio visual. It's a music NFT, and I will put that link there.
Can we play it?
Let's do it. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. I need some filler.
Can we get some audio going?
I need some
All
filler.
Right. Sarah Script, hard-hitting question number 6.
Leave Sarah alone. Giff, what the fuck?
Do you collect any music NFTs, or is there anything about music NFTs that you're paying attention to or particularly excited about?
The very first NFT I collected was a music NFT. Thank you very much.
Wow.
I also collected from the person that taught me exactly how to do NFTs. So that was
Black Dave.
Thank you. Well, Black Dave was one of them. This was Lobo. Lobo 301, I think was his handle. I collected a music NFT from him. I also collected and flipped a Run Ed. It's been a hard year, guys. I had to flip it. I love Ed. Also have to pay bills. And I
Wait, is that Ed Balloon? Is that
Ed Balloon. Ooh, what other Ed?
Ed Balloon.
It's a musician.
Yeah, well, that's why I was clarifying. Yeah.
I'm really bullish on Ed, by the way. If you've ever seen him perform live, you'll know why. He is one of the best performers I've ever seen on stage.
Or his music videos. By the way, I talked to Ed Balloon about being one of our first guests for our new studio show in Hollywood, and he said, maybe. He was like, I'll let you know. Maybe I'll stop by.
You got to get some rep first, Giff. Come on, man.
I know, apparently.
You have a title for that show, by the way?
Ed, y'all, tell us in the comments, what should we name our new live video podcast? We're shooting in Hollywood. We're going to do our first test run this week, and we don't have a name for the show yet. So tell us what we should name it. Maybe Sarah can come up with some really creative Web3 NFT name for us. But Ed Balloon also, to Sarah's point, his music videos are phenomenal. It's like, hey, give me $100 and a camera, and I'll create some fucking artistic crazy awesomeness. It's great.
All right, I'm showing the Kane Mayfield off right now. We're gonna take a listen, maybe like a minute. We'll give it a minute and see if we can get some takes here.
How stupid dumb big my rooms got room. Money everything.
If money over everything. And $1 is a debt, then to always your wedding ring. You follow that? Go back the dollar. Switch the notes made by Box. Goes calm. In China, say the world flat. Broke, bought the debt, forced the debt ceiling. Now they want to buy your gold back. And this is all gibberish.
Actually, I think that was playing through twice. So apologies for that. Let me make sure I'm getting this.
Big my rooms got rooms.
If money over everything. And $1 is a debt, then to always your wedding ring. You follow that? Go back the dollar. They switched to notes made by ghosts, cause gold common. In China, say the world flat. Broke, bought the debt, forced the debt ceiling. Now they wanna buy your gold back. And this is all gibberish for people who ain't into this. For those in the know, touch your finger to your nose. I'm tripping, just a penny for your thoughts. Every pen is reinforced just in case they got to go. But take away the power grid. Couple years later, kick them niggas out of prison is a vote. Reinforced, I'm veering off my beat. I got these ideas, I tick them off the dome. Like poor people free? Well, I disagree. Try to leave in mass, they put that blicker to your dome. But first they have a travel tax. Imagine that. You have to pay them for the privilege of the globe. So if you live in Po, they call you Tap Water Mo. What's the over under average? You make it out the hole. Uncle Sam Goat, he keep his bitches broke. Passport fees, you get the trip and it's revoked. This the world they live in, with Pearl Gates chilling in the clouds waiting for you. If you let them take your soul, never let them take your passion. Don't ever let them, you'll never ever let them, don't ever let them take your passion. To some this is the
Yo, it's a banger. It slaps. I actually
love
I've checked out the art, but that's the first time listening to the song and focusing on it. And dude, Kane's a talented dude, man.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to stand up here and waste y'all's time. Like, Kane is like literally one of my favorite people in the space. Like those, first of all, he's multi-talented, right? Like he's able to create things like that and also hop onto a Twitter Spaces and be one of the best Twitter Spaces hosts and one of the funniest dudes that I hear on Twitter Spaces, you know, in the industry, let alone like outside of that. So I'm a huge Kane fan. I will be collecting that as well. I love the live reaction here because we could be like, oh, I'm collecting that live and not follow up like a Hezbollah, if that makes sense.
Yo, we're trying to wiggle your way out of the house, boy, huh, Q? That's smart. I like how you set that up.
So for Sarah's context, Q likes to say all kinds of outlandish, crazy shit on the show, and for far too long he has not been held accountable for his words. And so he said he was going to pick up a crypto Hezbollah, and we've been following up with him. Doesn't seem like he's done it yet. And it's been a month or two. I mean, I'm checking. Yeah, it's been about 6 to 9 months.
Oh wow.
Oh, they've been out for a while. This is like secondary market at this point. Did I collect the CockPunch with you guys? Did I hop in?
Yeah,
No,
but
you did it afterwards.
you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't make
I
any
wasn't on the
promises
allow
on that
list.
one.
I wasn't.
Sarah, as a fan of good writing and storytelling NFTs and all that, you know, wordplay, do you have any thoughts on CockPunch?
I heard you guys talk about the podcast, said that the first episode was really good, right? Was that you, Biggie?
Yeah, I'm following it closely, studying the map, everything. I'm very
Studying that map. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, man. You got to know the regions. You know,
You're up late at night. Up late at night with that. Yeah.
Sarah, I'm curious though, being in the wordsmith arena that you are, how do you see that particular space evolving? You know, it's one of those things where I feel like they haven't nailed it yet, right? Like, I mean, and it's hard. I figure it's hard to do. You as a calligrapher, I think, you know, you cross that chasm a little more because it's more of an art form, like, you know what I mean, in making it, right? But like, you know, it just seems like music and everything else is being onboarded pretty seamlessly, or I mean, at least it offers a lot more experimentation than just, you know, uploading a poem onto the blockchain. You know, I feel like for a lot of people, it's still not attractive, but I mean, it's one of the oldest art forms alive, and I'd hate to see it be, you know, left in the dust. How do you see it playing out?
I mean, like in terms of like storytelling and writing, I mentioned that in the beginning that Crypto Coven is one of my favorite PFP projects, but they've also done an incredible job of building out a story over the past year. I think they've been out a little over a year now. And they have a podcast, like they have a storytelling podcast that they're coming out with. And I think like maybe hopefully we're getting back to the original idea of collecting for collecting's sake, of like, if you go into my dad's room at my house, it's just filled with Cracker Jack prizes, like the entire thing. And it's like, these are not worth a bunch, but like he's obsessed with collecting them. And so like, and it's because of the history that goes along with them and like what they represented when they came out and him playing with them as a child. And so I think like we're getting back to that with storytelling. And I think that's like, perhaps like you might not like the way that those CockPunch NFTs look, but if you love the story, you're going to want to have one, you know? So it's kind of the same for me in Crypto Coven. Like I'm just a goofball for the whole like narrative and lore of Crypto Coven.
I feel like Sarah just very, very nicely and subtly told all of us guys here that we have ugly cocks. But that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. But no, I'm curious. What does the market for Crackerjack toys look like? There's got to be some market out there for it. I'm sure he's not the only one.
Oh yeah, there's an annual convention. He's charter member number 33.
There's an annual convention.
There's something for everybody, y'all, and there is trading of that on eBay, old school trading. And I was like really trying to get him into NFTs, but he was like, "Nope, I'm good with my Cracker Jacks." So yeah,
that'd be like starting all over, you know.
To make sure that we don't talk about CockPunch anymore, I am going to move us on. As Prodigy saying in the chat, 59 minutes in, if we have only hit the World Cup topic. Jacob hates y'all. Jacob, that was a quick news segment, man. We had to hit that relatively well. I do want to move us into our first topic, though. Elon Musk, should I step down as head of Twitter? I will abide by the results of this poll. Final results. So this poll is closed. 57.5% on
it wasn't even close.
17.5 million votes.
It wasn't even close. He lost by millions.
This going along with the topic that Twitter initially put out a tweet saying they were banning the use of links to other social media platforms. And the obvious outcry when they put that out since been deleted. So that tweet mentioning that there was this policy that, you know, that I believe Facebook, Instagram, Monolith was part of it. So, or maybe did I get that platform correct? It started with an M.
No, it's not Monolith.
It's not Monolith. Mastodon.
Yeah.
See, that's part of the conversation because I'm not on other social media apps. I will be a unwitting like slave to Elon apparently, and I'm not a big fan of the other social media apps because they don't provide the reach. I would love to have another option. I just don't think that there is. But anyways, guys, take on Elon Musk doing this poll to start, and then we will get into this policy of banning other social media platforms in a sec.
There's so many thoughts here. It's kind of like where to start. I don't know if people want to hear me talk yet. Let's get Sarah. I want Sarah's POV on this first.
I don't like, he's such a shit poster that I've lost like any sort of trust in anything. Like, what is this poll supposed to mean? Like, It doesn't mean anything to me now because he's made himself the most unreliable narrator ever.
Boy, who cried wolf definitely on this.
Oh man, to me it's little. I don't know how long has it been since he took over Twitter? Not even a month.
Couple months.
Right?
Couple months.
You know, and before that, all I'd hear in Twitter is people complaining about Twitter, and I understand like he's not, like you said, he's not a reliable narrator, but he's pretty reliable when it comes to performing at the tasks that he takes on, right? And the way he goes about it, I mean, if you look at his rockets, they were criticized too, right? For the longest time. Who the fuck is going to do reusable rockets? And whenever they crashed, people waved their hands and they were so happy to fucking, you know, wail on him and stuff. And lo and behold, now everybody's using reusable rockets because he made it fucking work. And I think that to fix the, you know, mess that Twitter is at the moment does require you to get your hands dirty, try shit, break things, and maybe piss a couple of people off with posts, you know, polls like this, right? Like, I'm just glad that he's trying. And I do want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he'll figure out a way to make it work. The problem is, like you said, is that, yeah, he is a shit poster. And some people want to put everything that comes out of his mouth in stone. And unfortunately, we should all know better by now. I mean, this is the Doge Master after all. Just let the guy do his thing. In the end, I think that if it doesn't work, I think he'll leave a good trail of breadcrumbs for whoever comes after on what not to do and maybe how to do it better. Maybe he contributes to whoever does build something better by fucking this one up.
That's
But I
that's
want to give him enough time.
that's looking at the glass as half full right there, Biggie, and I appreciate that.
We got some Mastodon comments here that I want to get to as well, but this felt like the policy move itself, not the tweet, but the policy move where they're banning other social media platforms was the first time that I said, oh, this might not be the best move for Twitter as a platform, is having Elon at the top.
Did you guys see the tweet that Lex Friedman asked them where he was like, let me help. I would love to participate if you'd let me help. And then Elon was like, careful what you wish for. You just might get it. I think that would be really interesting. Somebody that's already at the top of his game.
Well, they're going to be doing
civil conversations with difficult people.
They're planning to do a podcast this week, but now people are speculating like Lex Friedman's going to be CEO. I don't think Lex would want to be CEO of fucking Twitter. Like I don't know where that's coming from, but like here's what I have to say. For all the reasons that Biggie just pointed out about Elon Musk's credentials, about taking on tremendously difficult problems and then like banging his head against them until he makes them work and totally shifting the course of like how people think and how they operate. Like for all the reasons that Biggie was saying, I would actually be very, very disappointed to see Elon step down, which is why I was sad when I saw this poll, because I think he means it. It's like the fact that people... He stuck to his other polls. Why would he say? I mean, maybe you're right. Look, don't take everything.
Because the other ones didn't have him leaving.
Exactly. Don't take everything that he says 100%. But like, I think he's trying to make like these polls more interesting by adding legitimacy to them and the stakes of saying like, look, y'all get to vote and I'll go by it. So that's not saying 100% he's going to step down. If he does, I will be sad because I wanted to see him break shit, move quickly, try different things, and try and actually move Twitter from, being over here to several steps away or somewhere different. Even if it was chaos for a while, I would have accepted that to see somebody really, really innovate and try new shit and shake up the whole social media landscape, right? I was actually excited and on board to see that. I disagree with the policy of Twitter has always been a marketing platform first, and banning like Linktree, I think was awful. But either way, my point is I would actually be sad to see Elon step down so quickly because I was kind of excited for the roller coaster and to see where he could take it. It is a tremendously hard task. And the one thing that I think is different from Tesla, well, maybe not entirely, but the one thing that I think is at least more different about the Twitter acquisition and him running Twitter than Tesla and SpaceX and these others is that it is more ideological. And that is that I think the biggest reason why he did it was because of his own perspective on free speech, his own legacy, wanting to have to basically control where the news breaks and have that power. Twitter is one of the most influential platforms in the world. And I think, Sarah, it might have been you. Somebody was mentioning like the Arab Spring, different, like Twitter has been tremendously consequential in terms of, how information is disseminated, how we communicate. And he, I think, came into it understanding how critical Twitter can be to, again, being not just like a town square for the US, but being a global town square in a new globalized world. So I think that there's more ideology behind this acquisition. And that's the one thing that's like a big question mark that kind of scares me about it. So I don't know. There's a couple thoughts for you.
Elon's great at stirring up a bunch of controversy and creating a lot of attention for his products, which then in turn gets it in the news and all this stuff. The problem is Twitter doesn't need this shit. Like he's doing the same process that he does at Tesla and SpaceX, where he creates this media coverage. It's like Twitter already has this. Like you're just
organically. He doesn't pay for any of it. Yeah.
So again, like here's my thing with it. It's like I unanimously believe that Elon is good for Twitter. Like that's, at the core of it, I think that he is good for Twitter. I think Jack was someone we looked to that had a lot of Web3 ideals in this very Vitalik way, right? Like Jack, for the longest time before he got removed from a lot of the ongoings at Twitter, felt like he had free speech, felt like he had all of these values in mind when they were doing things at Twitter. It's, via the Twitter files that is getting leaked like every other day at this point, it's clear that Jack was incredibly not on the ground level. He was incredibly separated from what was happening at his own company. I think he had already left at that point, so that makes sense.
He was also running multiple companies too,
Yeah.
right? I think he was running Square, and it's just like you can't. What's really fascinating about seeing Elon get as in the weeds as he has been, like visibly on Twitter, responding to employees, like responding to certain people that are criticizing and shit, is that I think, to your point, like you do not normally ever see CEOs or people that are running these massive global operations, especially when you've got multiple of them, which is absurd, getting that into the weeds. And like we're getting a very transparent look at a process that is not normal. Like I don't think it's normal for a CEO to be this in the weeds on something.
One of the other pieces I want to bring up around this policy is like people were reading into a lot of this stuff. Like I know initially we were thinking, oh, maybe all social media platforms are eventually going to be, banned. But looking at the wording of some of this stuff, and this is a tweet that's still up, by the way. The other one, like I said, had gone down. It's saying a policy of preventing the creation of or use of existing accounts for the main purpose of advertising other social media platforms. When they say this, do they mean like business accounts? Like Instagram can't be.
So I think this is directly tied to the issue with bots, right? Because what this creates is a bunch of spammy behavior. So you get a bunch of accounts that are basically bots. They're there for no other reason than to just push links in a one-way direction. They're not engaging. They're not really creating any meaningful value, right? So this is like you, Nifty Q, if you wanted to use Twitter as a primary marketing platform, going and setting up 15 to 100 different Twitter accounts, and they're all just link sharing accounts, right? It's like it's just a marketing channel, just pure promo. And that's, I think, what they're seeing is that a lot of these bot accounts are basically just one-way link sharing promo bullshit. They're not actually contributing a lot of value to it. If anything, they're contributing a lot of noise and a lot of spammy behavior. So I think that's what this is. It's trying to solve the bot issue.
We should do a MetaMask test.
What do you mean?
Like somebody tweet about MetaMask and see how many see if Elon is really, really helping.
We could set that up. We could do that live on stream. Sarah, you were mentioning Taylor Lorenz being an account that got suspended recently. I don't know if you want to give us a TLDR of that for people that aren't familiar, but also just in general want to get your take on whether is this Elon thing going to essentially blow up for Twitter? Is it good for Twitter? Kind of get your general take on the whole thing.
I have no idea. I feel like blocking or suspending journalists this weekend was really scary looking. Not great. I think Mo Brenda, who's on the morning show, knew more about the Taylor Lorenz situation than I did, but him blocking her was a little bit shocking. But as I understand it, she was trying to dox his location, which in that case, I kind of understand him suspending her account temporarily. Like that's not okay.
The additional context around this is that there have been these accounts. I think it started with this account called Elon Jet. And so they've been basically tracking his movement and sharing his public location and where his jet is flying and shit like that. And I think like what a lot of these people are trying to demonstrate, and it's kind of shitty because it's kind of trolling him back, which again, he's a troll, so it's fair game. Like you can't feel bad for him. But I think what they're all trying to do is like, oh, you said you're for free speech. You really want to be for free speech? Well, then let's find the limit. And I think that's literally what they're doing is they're finding the limits of free speech on his platform, right? And also the other context there is that he let them back on. I think the people that he's been banning, he basically like took them down momentarily and then put them back up. I don't think he's trying to ban free speech at all, as much as he's trying to protect his own life at this point. Because they're like, when you're the richest man in the world, or X, I don't think he's the richest man anymore because of this Twitter shit, but like, you are a target. And so, I think there need to be certain boundaries even within something like free speech. And that is like, for one, where you are creating harmful or dangerous situations for a lot of people, advocating for violence, right? Like, you could say that's free speech, but also like, you might want to put a limit on that if people are dying or getting assassinated or killed. So I think everything, I don't know. It's complicated.
The whole thing is like, he is as an individual. So, and everything around it is complex and hard to unpack. Just to be clear, like we're completely not even covering the story, which often happens in this space because things happen so quickly, about Twitter Spaces getting taken down for about 24 hours. How long did we even?
That was interesting.
It happened after we were kind of wrapped up with a week, because we wrap up on Thursdays. But
how excited are the Clubhouse maxis? They're like, yes, blow it up, burn it all down. Come back to us. Biggie, hop in whenever too, man. Specifically, we will remove accounts created solely for the purpose of promoting other social platforms content that contains links or usernames for the following platforms: for Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, True Social, Tribal, Noster, and Post. I know about half of those. Have not even interacted with, a Noster, a Tribal, True Social. Have not even been on those platforms. This is the link to the policy page now. Wow. So they completely removed this and then put up that poll. So hey,
Twitter,
he's breaking shit. He's trying shit. They're breaking shit, Biggie. They're trying some shit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
how are you answering this, Biggie?
Ongoing debate, especially. I'm sorry?
How are you answering this? I will choose your answer. How are we answering this Twitter poll? How are you answering it?
I don't give a shit.
Where's that option?
All right.
No,
that should be option 3.
Whoa.
Wow. I don't know. I do believe in like the way networks grow are not by canceling most of the time, right? Like, or I think like, like shutting down I think all these different networks that he's saying you can't promote anymore. Like, I think in the end they feed back into Twitter as well and help it grow. I don't think it's like taking market share or anything from it. I understand that he's trying to like make a new business model perchance. And so again, yeah, he's trying to break shit and everything, but I don't know. It's a tough question to ask. Like you said, like, I don't think that like, like if he says that he's for free speech, that like people that try to find those limits just for the sake of finding limits, it's like, I don't know. I don't understand people like that, right? Because I'm from a part of the world where if you cross the line, you're gonna get punched in the fucking mouth, and then
fuck around and find out.
Responsibility. I'm not advocating for fucking violence, but sometimes, god damn it fucking works, And with this type of shit, like with keyboard jockeys that like to hide behind anonymity and just spew all kinds of dumb shit, and then try to like justify it because they're trying to find the limits or this or that. To me, it's just like, you don't know how to be a human in the normal world. Because if you can't say it in front of a person with your chest, then you should just shut the fuck up.
That is true. Yeah,
a lot of these cowards
I'd be slamming my soundboard.
Right?
The lack of accountability that you get when you're behind a keyboard as an online and being able to say whatever you want with no repercussions is absolutely not how the normal world would operate. At least historically speaking. The other interesting thing that came up with this conversation, though, this morning was I think Don R was mentioning the decentralized social media idea. Should we be moving social media onto the blockchain where everything is written and you can't delete it? Would anybody actually really want to be so accountable. Like, at least, like, yes, everything is stored on servers somewhere, but you can still delete a tweet and make it much, much harder for somebody to go find out the dumb shit that you said 10 years ago. We already have an issue with, cancel culture arguably going maybe even too far, of like holding people accountable for totally different people that they were, sometimes it's good. I'm not saying it's always wrong, but I just mean, like, we've taken that to a very far extreme. Would we really want social media to be on a blockchain where every single thing that you ever thought and posted was there on Etherscan or Solscan, or like impossible to get away from?
So the NFT cutie was asking about the instant gratification, which I think he termed, not like his term that he used was like maybe incorrect and like led to the wrong kind of thoughts on what he was trying to say. All he was trying to say was like we should get paid instantaneously when it comes to like people always talking about, oh, I'm going to get paid for Twitter. Well, then how do you go about that? If you had a decentralized media application, I guess, or a social media platform, you could technically get paid out instantly, right? Over the course of time, like a tweet would go viral and you would get paid out pennies or dollars or whatever, because of the way that the blockchain works. It doesn't need like a centralized database to be like, here, you get $1,000 on this date. It's like you could actually work in decentralized finance with the app.
I mean, Sarah, you're killing it on Twitter. What do you think? Would you want to get paid for your tweets, for your awesome musical content?
Oh God. Like I think there's a case for maybe like a YouTube model, because that's automatic, right? Like once this reaches so many views, so many subscribers, blah blah blah, you get paid out automatically at the end of each month, right? But I downloaded Farcaster, and then I got scared and deleted it. I think that though, if like social media was on the blockchain, it would cause us to think a lot more about our actions, like a lot more about hitting that send button. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a website, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like, do you just want to hit send on that, like, sub tweet that you're really angry about? We're that website for you, but it just goes into the ether. Like you just have that like satisfaction of hitting send, and then it's just like,
yeah. It's like placebo hate tweet. It's like
right. Yeah, I think people would think a lot harder about what they put on the internet if it was decentralized. I also think that like shit posting is going to die down over the next year. And like I think people will like start valuing like longer form content, like Substacks and like Mediums and things like that, because it's just like, it's just like kind of like the lowest of the low. And I think people are getting really tired of like Twitter shit posts and that kind of content. I think people like want to be, I think there's a movement in like Gen Z of like wanting to go more slow and like stay away from smartphones and stuff. So I think like maybe there is a case for decentralized social media winning out in that case, because then they're not just like, posting some dumb thing to Twitter or deleting, blah, blah,
So you bring up another interesting point about like another ripple in this conversation, right? Which is that there are starting to be laws introduced that are basically like banning social media or social media platforms, or even I think use of certain technologies for people under 18 or certain ages. It does seem like there's starting to be some pushback or a correction, from the overconsumption of social media and technology. It seems like there's starting to be policymakers realizing that this is damaging. Yeah, I think the one thing that I have to say about that, because I think it's a really interesting idea, that like you're starting to see this sort of shift in our consciousness away from this, maybe you think of it as like sort of the junk food content to a little bit more meaningful, nutritious content. I think the one thing that would really have to change to help that would be the algorithms would have to also change, right? The platforms themselves would have to stop rewarding that kind of behavior, because part of the other issue, the pressure on the other side, is that people like Shill and Villain are amassing massive audiences by being trolls. Like the algorithms reward troll-ish behavior, controversial behavior, shit posting. they're fucking rewarding it, and people are making entire livelihoods out of being trolls. So that's the one thing that, like, in my opinion, would really have to change.
All right, we're going to hop out of this Twitter discussion and move on to our community topic segment. Community topic segment for the first time. We're going to have a cool little intro for that, I promise.
Wait, I think we need to rename it. We don't like the word community here.
That's
so.
true. That's true. Take your shot. We mentioned community. Biggie Poppins, you are picking the winner for today to receive your topic here on NFT Live. It is going to be discussed, but you're also going to receive $50 US, 50 dirty fiats worth of ape coin on the. And we're not going to talk about Yuga today, but there was a huge ape.
Oh yeah, who's been DMing Biggie in the
taking
back
a split?
How corrupt is
25.
Is this?
All right, Biggie, what do we got? What's the community topic for today? Chosen by the community.
I like the question by nyc.swoosh pin the cloud something. I am Owen Rogers. It says Nick Davis passing, artist behind Black is Beautiful NFT project. What a creator passing does for the legacy of a project, how Web3 community will respond. I think it's interesting because it's such a new medium that we're all in, but we've had a couple of great artists, that are crypto native that have passed, and these are like the pioneers, right, in our space, like defining culture. And so I am very curious about what maybe Sarah might think about this, right? Like historically, it's always been the case, right, that once the artist passes is when the real money is made from their works. In this particular case, I think like Web3 community is, very different because I think we're all kind of in sync. We're all in different communities where you immediately get the news quickly and are able to react. And I wonder if this will, I don't know, lead to a different type of appreciation of the artists themselves, right? Not just the art, but maybe like diving deeper into the life of the person who created it. What do you think, Sarah?
I wasn't familiar with Nick's work prior to hearing of his passing, but I did check it out and read a little bit more about him. I think it's terribly sad for the community that knew him and like friends of his, artists in the NFT space. His work is beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. It's portraiture, and I would pull it up if I had the ability to, but I'm not. But okay, here we go.
He's on it. There you go.
I don't know what else to say except it's incredibly sad, and check out his work.
Well, Sarah, you're an artist, and you said you didn't want to use the word community, but you're pretty acquainted with, I would say, I don't know what percentage, but with many of your collectors, right? More than maybe artists have ever been in the past. Like I think artists right now have a direct line to their biggest fans, right? And that forms a very different type of relationship than the one that used to exist in the past, right? Which was the gallery, right? Which was if somebody passed and it was a famous artist, oh great, your the valuation of whatever you collected just went up, and maybe you got to meet him once or twice, but you weren't in a Discord channel like talking with them, telling jokes, I don't know, exchanging recipes, whatever it may be. Like you said, it's, I don't know, it just feels like it's a lot more personal. And what I mean by it, like, I don't know, not increasing in value, sure, maybe the art increases in value, but what about the connection amongst their collectors or that community, right? Like, will the Discord stay up? Will the friendships that were forged in there go away? Like, there just seems to be a lot more at stake now to consider, at least, or that's like residue, right? Than there used to be in the past, which was just, oh, Van Gogh died, money go up, right? Number one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think in this case, and in like independent artist case, like, I think it's like, it increases the value, not monetarily, but in the fact that like he's obviously left a legacy with his art that has connected people and drawn people in. And you're going to have more people who value that sentimentally and do not want to sell it. And I think like this is also the case for creating more meaningful work and being a member of the community, because, you know, every other day there's some crazy like Donald Trump or chicken butt project that like, you know, goes up in insane value, and people are like, oh, the community's great, the community's great. But it's like, what community are you talking about? Do you mean those people in a Discord that are just pumping and dumping? Like, that's not community. And I mean, this is gorgeous. I think that, yeah, this is his Nina Simone piece. Like, he's created story and representing amazing people with his beautiful work. And I think when we create art with meaning, it's going to have more staying power.
100%.
And speaking is,
and I'll,
go ahead.
just to bring in one more little piece of this, right? Because, you know, I don't know if his artwork, I imagine it was not CCO, right? But if you bring in that CCO component down into it, then the collectors are the custodians of that legacy now, right? So maybe they are the sole deciders of how that work is presented down the line, right? Or used in different ways, right? It's really interesting, I think. Yeah, it's very sad that he passed.
It'll be interesting to see if communities come together to create their own sort of DAOs to do exactly that, to, you know, sort of be the custodians, the shepherds of those legacies in a more enduring way. Don R's making a really good point here, you know, and that's imagining the importance of royalties for the family of an artist who passes, right? It's like, so much got just thrown out of the window by these platforms by so quickly assuming that artists and royalties could be just thrown under the bus. But like the whole promise of so many creators moving into the space was this opportunity to create generational wealth, or to change their themselves, or to capture more value through all their labor and their hard work and their ideas. And when an artist passes, what happens to those royalties if they even exist? I don't know if Nick had a family, but if he does, you know, and his work lives on and becomes more popular, maybe even after his death posthumously, which does often happen with art and artists, as you mentioned, Biggie, you know, those royalties could be tremendously valuable and important to his family. So that's, you know, again, really, really appreciate you bringing that up, Don, because it is important.
Stories like these make me feel like it highlights, and I wouldn't call this negative, but it highlights the side of NFT art and the work that artists have to do in this space beyond just creating the art. Because again, maybe art itself is going to be valuable, or, you know, hold value and things like this, but the things that he was doing before he passed, like, I don't like he had to be a marketer, he had to be a creator, a CEO in a lot of senses, and like a community manager, all these things. I've heard every single artist in this industry has kind of said the same thing, because that's the experience. It's not, I'm just creating this art. It's, I have to do all of these different things, and how does that get continued if somebody passes away? It's tough. So I think you have to separate maybe a lot of the things that go along with, you know, being a, you know, having a community in the NFT scene, as opposed to just the art itself. I think the art will continue.
We have one of those multi-hyphenate entrepreneurial artists here with us right now. So, I mean, Sarah, how does Web3 and NFT fit into your bigger vision of like your career and your legacy? Like, how have you been watching all this royalty shit and, you know, what's happening with Nick? Like, I don't know how, like, you're doing so much yourself, right?
Yeah, it really makes you think, like, you know, what do you do in these situations? Like, I haven't collected any of Nick's work, but I really hope that like the people who have, I think, I can't remember if Biggie was saying this, but like are like stewards of his work and like try to get it into galleries, try to get it into shows, you know, try to get it seen so that it doesn't get lost. And yeah, in regards to royalties, like this is so important, like for stuff like this, you know, and I think it makes me think like, what am I doing for the future? Like, where would I want those royalties to go? Like, would I want them to go to a certain charity, you know, or to my family or whatever? It really makes you think, and like, you know, the need for many of us, not just artists, but collectors as well, to set up plans for the future. So yeah, sorry not to get too dark, but
I mean, we're having the discussion. It's like, to me, I'm not an artist. Like, I'm an artist in a different way. I create, you know, media content. I don't do like, you know, portraits or things like this, but it just, whenever I hear artists specifically talk about the space, it kind of does lean, I do lean where I feel bad, because it's like the art isn't what's kind of valued in this space a lot of the times. It's like everything else that comes along with it, right? Like, imagine like Van Gogh having a roadmap. You know, like what? Like that's not. But that's what people expect in this space. It's like, what are all the things that go along with this art?
Yo, 5v4, I'll cut off my other ear. Let's go.
oh my goodness. That's why I've always said with all my collections, it's just art. You're just buying art.
And you're creating the utility as you go and as you're able to, which I think that's a very honorable and I think smart way to do it, right? You're not overcommitting or overpromising to ridiculous shit, you know, but also you are very much focused on building your community, your relationships, your collector base, you know, with these like one of one or these, you know, airdrops or whatever you're doing. And I think that's why I wanted to bring up the Mournbird, the connection between the Mournbirds and the mice, is that so that people understand that you are building your own ecosystem and creating value and giving back. And this isn't just like you know, a transaction here, just enjoy this, I'm done. You are doing stuff, whether or not you're going to do a crazy roadmap, which you shouldn't, you know, you are doing a lot for your collectors and creating a lot of value, I think, in your own unique way, as you should, as Sarah
and honestly, like, to highlight that thing that Sarah just said, which Tim Ferriss has said for his project, which a lot of people have tried different mechanisms to apply to whatever project that they're doing online, which is like, it's so important to curate the type of collector or community that you're trying to build as early as possible, right? Whether it's by dissuading flippers or by just stating the facts right away, like, this is just art, because then the people that you do draw in are most probably going to be people that actually appreciate what you're doing, or that understand the person behind the art and not just looking, you know, to do their thing, as so much of the space tends to lean towards, right?
Yeah, like you want them to be fans of the art and of the story if you're building a story, or the content. Like, I watch your show on here like pretty much every day. Like, and yeah, and it's like how I am a fan of my certain things that I would want to spend ETH on just because I like the story and how it looks. And that's it. Like, yeah.
Love it. Donar saying monetary value, art desirability, the person behind the artist. We need to flip that priority stack. And you guys have honestly have been, you know, getting after it in the chat. We appreciate you so much. Quantum Variant saying it's always about the person behind the art, especially now that most of us know each other more than in the past. All right, folks. A quick and easy episode here on NFT Live, an hour 40. Hopefully you guys appreciate the content. We did have a Yuga announcement that we wanted to cover, but we will have to wait till tomorrow to get that. But that was a big piece of what they're trying to do with the other side and everything that's going on with the Yuga Labs. Sarah, thank you so much for popping on here today. Your first guest appearance on NFT Live, hopefully not the last.
More.
Hopefully not.
Yes,
yeah.
Also, Sarah, you were so gracious with your time. You don't have to stay the whole show either. You could come in, pop in for 20 minutes. I'm just saying thank you for being here. And y'all, give her a follow. Can we pull up her it's the foundation is your current auction. Is that right? Let's pull that up one more time. Y'all, Sarah's script. check her out. Her Twitter is fire. Absolutely so talented. Her art's amazing. She has a live auction right now, and I mean, look at her. She's a beautiful human being too. She's not just amazing art. So yeah, we appreciate you, Sarah, and yeah, let's pull up that auction. But yeah, Sarah, anything else you want to leave us with? Before we sign off.
Thanks, and I'm looking forward to Wednesday because y'all are doing a fun room with Nifty Castle on Wednesday, and I'm going to be in Little Rock for that, home for the holidays. So I'm really looking forward to all that.
Yes, Sarah is on our Take the Throne panel of judges. So if you want to pitch your idea or concept and get in on the ultimate gift-a-thon prize packages, there you go. That's it. We're announcing the panel today. We're going to be rolling out more of that. But all you have to do is DM Jess Yatrovsky. Actually, send her a 2-sentence concept to get in. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's pull up Sarah's art. Get my face off the screen. There we go.
Your face can be art too, GIF.
No.
All right, this is Sarah's foundation auction, this 1-of-1 piece. How long do we have, Sarah? 2 hours.
2 hours left. Yeah, I'm really proud of this one. I like it a lot.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I started it back in the spring and then needed to pick it back up and just for some personal art therapy, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Love it. All right, folks. Well, we're really happy with this episode of NFT Live, and we appreciate again Biggie Pop and Sarah Script, Gift Dead. We are going to go out with the latest video that House of First actually posted recently about Nick. So we're going to roll out with that video. Rest in peace, my friend. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you. Our Vibe, our track.
Viva Argentina!
Yes, sir.
My biggest thing is to take as much time as I have to inspire people who aren't mentioned in the world. I come from a community where certain colors aren't allowed, or it's looked down upon if a man cries. So, inspired by Basquiat, Kerry James Marshall, Jacob Lawrence, what I understood from them was, if you want to be the change you want to see, you have to be the one to put it out. Maya Angelou says that you're always trying to be normal, you never know how amazing you can be. And that's my biggest goal, is to inspire everyone to love themselves. From someone who struggles to see his own greatness. Thankful for my wife to always inspire me, encourage me. But it's important to know your value and to know that your dreams are valid. And with every opportunity I have, I just want to remind people to love yourself and just know that everything is happening for a reason.